Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Ma'am Nila Mareta Murdiani, as a lecturer of this English for Mathematics Education 2, and respectable for all my beloved friends. Okay, in this good change, Zulfa Maziidah going to present my academic essay under title The Influence of Asynchronous Student Team Achievement Division Learning Method on Students' Mathematics Achievement. Well, in the beginning of this essay, let me tell you about the urgency of mathematics itself. As whatever said by a mathematician from Netherlands that mathematics is considered as human activity. This statement proved that mathematics has a very important role in human life, because consciously or not, mathematics is always involved in every activity of life. The development of science also cannot be separated from mathematics. History records that many other sciences whose discoveries come from mathematics. Mathematics helps other sciences to analyze and synthesize various existing observations, find logical relationships, draw conclusions or interpretations, and finally develop science itself. It's stated by Rumiati in 2012. Based on these facts, by knowing the urgency and position of mathematics in science, we come to understand why it is necessary to master mathematical concepts as early as possible. However, studying mathematics is not without obstacles. Various problems are often found in the process of learning mathematics in our country, which then has an impact on Indonesia's achievement in mathematics. Indonesia's achievement in mathematics is not exactly good. The result of the 2015 Trend International Mathematics and Science Study Survey, which measures students' mathematical achievement from their ability to solve problems and apply mathematical concepts in everyday life, Indonesia is ranked 45 out of 50 countries with a score of 397. The low mathematics achievement of Indonesian students is also can be seen from the 2018 PISA score, which shows that Indonesia is lagging behind in the 73 position out of 79 countries, with an average mathematics ability score of 379. Based on the data that has been mentioned, the reality is that the ability of Indonesian students in mathematics is still very low. In general, there are two causal factors of these problems. Both are internal and external factors. According to Sujana in 2014 at page 39, internal factors are things that come from within students such as ability, learning motivations, interest and concern, attitude, study habit, physical and psychological conditions, while external factors are things that come outside the students themselves, one of which is the learning environment. The learning environment is an external factor that has a significant role to support the achievement of learning objectives. The quality of education will certainly have an impact on the quality of learning outcomes. The achievement of learning objectives as an indicator of learning success is very useful in the process of implementing the learning. The low mathematics achievement of students is because of the quality of mathematics learning in Indonesia is still low. Reporting from the CNN Indonesia page, the World Bank said that the quality of education in Indonesia is still low. Sujana in 2014 at page 40 states that one of the most dominant learning environment influencing learning outcomes in school is the quality of teaching. There are many problems that happen in mathematical learning. First, mathematics learning that has taken place so far can be said to be still at the teacher-oriented stage. The learning dominated by the teacher, while students only listen and take notes, so that it tends to make the student passive in the learning. Students prefer silence even though they do not understand, because they do not have the courage to ask the teacher. Putu Eni Rusmawati et al. In 2013 ever said that the low learning achievement in mathematics is caused by teachers still use conventional learning methods, and the students work individually, which sometimes cause students to accept misunderstandings without wanting to correct them. And the last mathematical problem is students has low self-efficacy. In addition, another challenge must be faced at this time is because of by the spreading of the COVID-19 outbreak, which limits almost all human activities outside the home, including teaching and learning activities in school. This condition requires education stakeholders to be more creative in designing alternative distance learning. In online learning during this pandemic, internet network services that are not valuable as well, and the facilities to support online learning that students do not yet have, both are the new obstacles must be faced. So, by this fact, synchronous learning that allows students and teachers to participate and be directly involved in a discussion through virtual meeting cannot be fully implemented, because the implementation of online learning uses elements of technology and as a tool and the internet as a system. That's what ever said by Fitriani, Fauzi, and Sari in 2020. Thus, existing situations must be able to make us be brave to evaluate the learning that has taken place in our country so far. Because to achieve good learning outcomes, the learning process must be packaged in such a way by utilizing the potential of students to the fullest. Therefore, teachers need to design appropriate strategies to optimize interaction between all learning components to create a conducive learning atmosphere, so that the learning objectives that have been set can be achieved. The mathematics learning paradigm that is still thick with the lecture method and teacher-centered must be changed to a new paradigm with innovative learning. This new paradigm prioritizes cooperation in groups. Students learn together and they are responsible for their learning activities. Student themed achievement division can be an alternative choice for teachers to be implemented in the classroom. The Student Team Achievement Division, or STAD learning method, is a type of cooperative learning method in which there are several small groups of students with different levels of academic ability working together to achieve learning goals. Not only academically, but students are also grouped in various ways based on their gender, race, and ethnicity. It's stated by Rusman in 2012 at page 201. Okay, now we are going to the second session. It is about discussion to be better understand about what is that STAD, what is that asynchronous learning, and students' achievement. Okay, first of all, these are the definitions of STAD. First, STAD is a type of cooperative learning model developed by Robert Slavin in 1995 at Johns Hopkins University in the United States, and it is the simplest cooperative learning model. Like the characteristic of cooperative learning in general, the STAD method consists of several study groups with very heterogeneous members. The second, it is about the definition of STAD2. According to Slavin in Rusman 2011 at page 213, the STAD type cooperative learning model is a cooperative learning model in which students study in heterogeneous groups of 4 to 5 people, taking into account the level of student achievement, gender, and ethnicity. Okay, some of you maybe are curious why do I choose to research about the influence of STAD learning method on students' mathematics achievement. It is because STAD itself has several strengths that are, in my perspective, can support students to achieve their best learning achievement. What are they? Those are, first, STAD is increasing students' critical thinking skills because it is facilitated by learning methods that can provide space for them to be talk active. The second, students are expected to be able to play an active role in learning by discussing with their group friends. As I said before, generally, the advantage of STAD learning method is there is a cooperation in groups, so the teacher will no longer be the only source of knowledge in the classroom, but the teacher as a facilitator who guides students to form their own knowledge. The third, STAD form a learning society in learning activities to ensure the implementation of the principle of education for all. We know together that in a classroom there must be students who have various mathematical abilities. So by the implementing of STAD, it can be formed a learning society in learning activities to ensure the implementation of the principle of education for all. And the last, STID also can increase students' understanding of the concept by being studied with the help of other friends. Moreover, the students' learning activities at home during pandemic that are dominated by giving assignment by teachers. Therefore, a variety of learning is needed so that students are not easily bored and burdened by the tasks they must complete. One of the alternative solutions that can be done is by the formatting the study groups. These are the learning steps of STAD. According to Rusman in 2011, the learning steps in the STAD method as follows. First, teacher convey learning objective and students conditioning. The second, teacher should presenting information verbally. And the third, organizing students into learning team, continued by assisting teamwork and study. And the fifth, holding a test on the materials. And the last is providing recognition. The STAD learning steps are not much different from the cooperative learning steps in general. The teamwork system distinguished STAD from other cooperative learning methods. The teacher delivers the subject matter, then the students work on the worksheet in their group to ensure that all group members have mastered the subject matter. After that, all students took individual tests, and in this time, students were not allowed to cooperate. It's stated by Slavin in 2005. That is about the definition of STAD, and now we are going to the definition of asynchronous learning. The first, The definition of asynchronous learning is stated by Sadikin and Hamidah in 2020. Asynchronous is a learning activity carried out by the teachers with the students in the different time, where teaching materials that have been distributed by the teacher can be accessed by students whenever and wherever they are. The definition of asynchronous learning also stated by Sujiatmoko in 2013. Learners can interact with course material and with each other at the time they choose. Sujiatmoko also explained further by giving an example that one student can post talks in hours or days, another students can comment on the post. Thus, students who cannot join in the discussion at a point in time can still engage with each other by following the trail of knowledge left over from the discussion. From those statements, we can conclude that asynchronous learning is a learning that is carried out freely and independently, not bound by time and place, so that students can more flexibly determine learning times and make it easier for them to access learning materials. Okay, now we are going to the definition of learning achievement. Learning achievement is defined as the result obtained by students or students after carrying out the learning activities which are expressed in the form of numerical or letter values. It is stated by M.N. Gufron and Rini R. in 2012 at page 9. Next, Femi Olivia also in 2011 at page 73 state about the definition of learning achievement. That is, the peak of learning outcomes that can reflect the result of students' learning success against the learning objective that has been set. And the last, Suryadi Suryabrata, given his statement about definition of learning achievement, that learning achievement is the result of training, experience supported by awareness. Learning achievement will never be separated from the process of learning activities, because achievement is the result of change from a process carried out. By this statement, we can conclude that learning mathematics achievement is the level of success that a person has achieved from the series of mathematics learning process they have been passed. Well, respectable for all the audiences, now we are going to the last chapter of this essay, namely conclusion. The formation of groups with heterogeneous members in the STAD learning method implicitly gives two forms of learning responsibility to students. Both are learning for themselves and learning for others. And also, by using the STAD method, students will interact to help and motivate each other to achieve high achievement maximum. And the application of STAD learning method is expected to help students understand the materials easily, so it can have a significant influence on students' mathematics learning achievement. That's all that I can present to you all in this occasion. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Hopefully, what I present before bring much benefit for all of us. Thank you so much, and last I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.